Hi guys, so I just wanted to talk about the coronavirus and some of the conspiracy theories that are surrounding it, be it COVID or the Chinese virus, as Donald Trump likes to call it, which we're going to be coming back to later in this video. So, obviously, as you are aware, it's become a global pandemic and many people are dying for it. Thousands and thousands of people are catching it every day, every hour. And it's not just in one country, it's literally in every single country in the world, in Europe, the USA, Asia, even in Africa, everywhere. So I don't think there's anyone that hasn't actually been affected by the coronavirus in some way or another. So today I'm just going to talk about some of the conspiracy theories that have been surrounding the virus and that I've been researching online and that I've come across a lot of people debating and discussing, and I just wanted to share some of my thoughts with you. And obviously, I just have to say that none of the theories that I'm going to talk about are my personal view. They're all just theories. None of them are true. Take them as you want, but obviously, it's just a theory. So there's no necessary truth to any of the things I'm about to talk about. So one of the first theories is that the coronavirus is actually lab made. So that means that the virus has been specifically formulated by scientists in a lab and released to the general public. So you might be thinking, but why would anyone want to purposely make people ill or make people die? And we're going to talk about some of the people that may have been involved in something like this and also some of the reasons why some people would want to do this. So the main people that keep popping up are obviously people like Donald Trump, uh, China, senior officials in China. A lot of people think Russia might have something to do with it, and recently Russia have blamed the UK, saying that the British government are working secretly with the American government, uh, presidents rather, to manufacture this disease and spread it to the world. So why on earth would people want to create a disease that's going to potentially kill millions of people and affect life as we know it, which we're all seeing more and more by the day now? So some people say that it's been manufactured to kill off the poor people and the old people. Now you might think, but why would anyone want to do this? And if you just look at what's happening in the UK, for example, we're getting into more and more debt. Obviously, people are living longer. Some people would say they're draining the resources of certain countries, and they're saying that the governments just can't afford to support these people. So it would make sense for them to create a deadly illness that's going to wipe out hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people from society who are no longer able to support themselves financially and may rely on government handouts. And obviously, with things like healthcare in Europe, it's very expensive for countries to keep up with. So it could possibly be that someone has manufactured this to reduce the elderly population and to reduce the financial pressures on countries and governments and the president, everyone else. So that's one possible reason for it. Another possible reason why the governments may have created the virus is because obviously lately we've been seeing a lot in the press about Trump referring to the virus as the Chinese virus. So we all know that the USA and China are in a big trade war and they're not exactly on the best of terms right now. So the Chinese are blaming it on the Americans now, saying that they've got proof that the virus originated in the US. And now Donald Trump has insisted that it's the Chinese virus and it's come from China. So they're creating a lot of bad blood between nations, and obviously Russia's been thrown into the mix. Russia are accusing Britain of doing it, so it seems like it could potentially be the start of a war, or it could potentially be someone trying to bring on a war. In particular, Donald Trump and the US with China and possibly Russia, which would then obviously escalate and involve everyone else. So that's another potential reason that people think that Trump has something to do with it. And also, while we're on the subject of Trump, a lot of people are saying that the virus was created to create mass panic amongst US residents, and now Trump is discussing how to deal with the situation, and there's been suggestions of handing every adult US citizen $1,000 per month until further notice. So obviously, with an election coming in November, Trump is neck on neck with Joe Biden in the odds, so he needs to do everything that he can to prove to the country that he is the man, he needs the job, and what better way to do that than basically to bribe every person in the US with $1,000 a month and to be seen as, look what I'm doing everything I can for you, which of course is going to be a great help to so many people, especially the poorer people, which would then probably incline them to vote for Donald Trump in the upcoming election. So that's something that could possibly be a motive if the virus was man-made and if it has been released intentionally into the world. Also in France, it's a similar situation. So President Emmanuel Macron is currently fighting for an election to become the next Prime Minister of France again. So he seems to be offering so much support to the French citizens and businesses in funding such as 330 billion euros, acting as the Good Samaritan again. However, if you actually look down into the plan, there isn't that much help available, and a lot of it is just loans, so the money will be still owed to the government. If anything, it's just going to prolong the debts that companies and individuals are facing, so that instead of facing them right now, they'll be facing them in a year's time or in 2 years' time. Also, another reason people think that the virus could have been man-made is climate change. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but since the virus broke out in China and also all around the world, climate change and air pollution has gone down by almost 70% in China and in many countries in the world. So this is a huge difference, and people are saying that they feel they can breathe better outside. So what better reason to bring awareness to climate change than to show the benefits of less factories, less pollution, less travelling, than by creating a pandemic of this scale to show the world what happens once we actually stop mass producing, mass manufacturing, driving unnecessarily, and air travel, everything like that, which is obviously toxic for the environment and is causing global warming all around the world. And obviously many people are suffering because of this, especially animals and certain countries and areas in the world. So that could potentially be another motive for global activists that may have helped engineer the virus to spread it to the world in order to bring down the pollution levels, in the world, and things like that. And also, another potential reason why the virus could have been lab made is for a cure to be manufactured. And obviously, once a big pharmaceutical company manufacture a cure for the coronavirus, they're going to be charging extortionate prices, and every single government, world leader, president in the world is going to have to pay whatever it costs to treat their people. So they're going to potentially make billions and billions of dollars, if not trillions of dollars, which, if you're looking at it from a conspiracy point of view, would be the perfect reason to create something on this scale. And also, now that we've talked about some of the reasons why the virus may have been created in a lab, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the media at the moment. So I'm sure you all have noticed in the media, everybody seems to be going mad. People are ransacking the shops. The shelves are empty. Everybody's panicking. So to all those small shops and companies that were struggling, this is basically a godsend for them. So it seems as though the media is fueling the mass panic of buying and basically making huge profits for companies. People are hiking their prices. Everyone's buying it no matter what it costs. Some people are using it as such an excuse to make huge markups on their products, such as hand sanitizers, toilet roll. For some reason, there's a global shortage of toilet roll. I've been to around 100 stores myself, and I haven't actually been able to find toilet roll in a single one of them. So it seems as though people want others to panic, and the media especially are encouraging panic buying. And although a lot of people are saying they're not, I think it's too late for that. So it seems that a lot of companies are actually benefiting from this tragedy and using it to their advantage, which I guess you can look at from 2 points of views. Either one, it's supply and demand, so who's to say what they can sell it for, or two, you're not giving poorer people a chance. And obviously Some people can't afford to stockpile months and months in advance, so the people that can't afford to buy things are in most danger, and it's often the most vulnerable and the poorest people that are in that situation. And also, a lot of people believe that China are covering up the actual amount of people that have died, which has then led the rest of the world to not take it as seriously as they should have been. So obviously from a lot of developed countries around the world, such as the US, the UK, most of the countries in Europe, they're struggling with the demand. Italy, for example, is unprecedented. They weren't prepared for this, and it seems to be rapidly expanding everywhere else as well. So it seems that had people been more prepared, this may not have got as bad as it currently is, and obviously it's going to be a lot worse. So some people do believe that China have covered up a lot of the deaths and the cases in their country, because obviously it's a lot more of a closed country. Their internet is highly guarded. You cannot access it from outside of China. They cannot access the internet outside of China. So as outsiders of China, we don't actually know what has gone on in China, what is going on in China, and what they are and what they aren't telling us. So there are a lot of risks to countries lying about their numbers or underplaying deaths or the spread of it, because it doesn't enable other countries to protect their citizens as best as they can if they were to be more aware and more prepared. So I could probably go on all day with the conspiracy theories. I've got quite a few more to talk about, but I don't want to bore you with too much. So I think on a last note, what I am going to say is last year, 57 million people died, which is 1.1 million people per week around the world. A lot of these were flu-related, cold-related, virus-related pneumonia. However, if you compare 1.1 million people dying every week last year to the amount of people dying every week this year just from coronavirus, it does look relatively small. So I'd say around 2,000 to 3,000 people are dying each week currently from coronavirus, which compared to 1.1 million people a week last year just from regular viruses and regular colds, it actually begs the question, is it as serious as they're making out, or has this mass hysteria and mass panic been created and manufactured by the media, and has everyone taken the virus too far in terms of how it's affecting us, in terms of how a normal virus would infect us? Is it just because it's got a name and that it's been brought to the attention of everyone in the media, or do we really have genuine reason to be as worried and as panicked as we are? So let me know what you think in the comments about any of the theories that I've talked about. Let me know your thoughts and comments, and of course I have to stress that they are not my views, they're not my opinions, they're just conspiracy theories, so I'm just putting them out there for people to discuss, think about, and just see what everyone else thinks. Also, if you've got any of your own theories, I'd love to know what they are, and I will reply to all of the comments below. And if you like this video, please be sure to thumbs up and hit the subscribe and notification button, and I will see you soon with another video, and thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, bye.